Hey guys, it's Cugsley and welcome back. Today I wasn't planning on making this video, but I thought why not? And that video is actually adding something to the UI system, which is really cool because I think I explained how it works kind of, but not the finished product, so I get to do that while also adding something in. So today I'm going to be adding in keycards, which I already made a model right here. So if it's like already to size and everything, and this is it. Now it looks like it's just one key card. It's actually all 6, including level 1 through 5 and then the Omni. So currently it's set at level 1, which is pretty cool. And there goes my fucking vent. Alright. But it's late and I want to get this video out, so I guess we're stuck with that. Either way though, so yeah. I'm going to be adding keycards into the game, which is really cool because it's going to take up a lot less space than papers would, which is funny because you'd expect it to be the opposite. With, what the fuck? Oh, why? Oh, okay, holy shit. As I was saying, it's just going to get louder, but the reason why papers cost so much more is because of just this here, and then there's also the addition of all these, then there's a deletion mechanic for them, there's the paper display. So a lot goes into making a paper, whereas a key card is a value rather than all the logic. So what I would do is, let's say for slot 1, because that's going to be the easiest to do right now, we're going to add in a key card slot, and I think I may be able to add in a chip for... Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. Okay, as I was saying previously, I may be able to add a chip that will allow me to have all 6 values, but until, let's go one step at a time, right? So what we're going to have to do actually is first go into the head, because the head is what kind of holds all the values for like what's been obtained. So if you look right here, you see this, and basically what happens is it'll sense the head, right? This sensor here will sense like, hey, I picked this up, because the object will kind of emit something once you press X. It'll activate this counter, which will say, hey, I have it now, right? And this here is basically the deletion chip, which is why it goes through the reset. So what I have to do is just add a new microchip. I'm gonna kind of put it off to the side here, and I'm going to color these ones that color, I guess. I was going to color it blue, because blue's a very nice color. It just kind of like, you know, sticks out of the background, which makes it really easy. That's actually why I have blue for a lot of things. Entire blue microchip. I try to stay with that because they would just work really well. Cool colors. And then to contrast cool, you have hot colors. Just a little cool thing you can do, I guess, if you want to make it really easy to tell what's what. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add a counter, which will act kind of like this switch. You can basically just copy these at this point, but we'll get to that because I want to try changing the deletion logic. So I'm not going to carry it over, I want to try adding something new. So we're going to do this, and as of right now, because I'm not quite sure how I would add a one-size-fits-all microchip for all 6 values, we're going to stick with just level 1. Because as of right now, level 1's basically all you need in the game. So we'll just put KC for keycard 1. Wait, let's do that. Yeah. We'll put in, just to make sure I know for a fact that it's in my inventory. So now we have this, and we need to get a sensor that will detect when you pick it up. So for that, I think I already have it in the keycard. I should have added that in. It will tell you when you click, so it'll just emit, keycard 1. So let's go in here and just select K. So a cool thing for those of you who don't know, or like are learning how to do this but haven't quite gotten into yet, is when it comes to wireless receivers and transmitters, or vice versa, if you have, say, something transmitting keycard, right, and you have a bunch of Ks, and you also have a bunch of other numbers, right, or letters, what will happen is you'll have to cycle through each one individually. But if you give it like the first letter, it'll cycle through all the Ks first, because that's the value you put. So as you can see, I typed in K and went straight to KC1 in, since that's the first in a line of Ks alphabetically and numerically given So do that, and you're good to go. Now make sure you set this to scene, because the if you have a sphere, then it may not. Sometimes it may. Oh, it's like too small. Oh, it's too small. Now it's not going to sense the microchip because it's in two different areas. If you do see it, it'll just look for the signal from literally anywhere in the scene. So there you go. Right now we have the basic on-off. Hey, I found it. Yeah. Now it's in the inventory. And now we have to go over to this microchip here, which we're going to add a little space for it, and we're going to change this one to yellow-green. That's as close as I can get without copying that one. So here we go. Now, we're going to copy a little bit from the other ones as well, since it's already kind of pre-made. Mainly we're going to copy these right here. Actually, hell, just copy out. Might as well just copy the whole damn microchip at that point. But reason being is because I just realized that I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of stuff most likely, but a lot of it's going to stay the same too. And this helps me from like having to reconnect everything. So we're going to change this here from 173 document slot 1 to KC1. Actually, I have that as one thing there, slot 1. So this variable here, so the difference with why I'm using a variable and not say a counter for this is because counters they're really cool. Like they can save values basically, but the problem is they can't carry over into new scenes. So what would happen is if I used a counter and I went to a new scene, this would not carry over, so you would lose the item out of your inventory. It's like it was never there to begin with. So this is like a saving mechanic. It's really good for just saving data across several scenes and dreams, which will allow for saving. So now let's work on changing some of these. Right? 173 paper already in menu, we don't need that. Or not that one specifically, we don't need the already in menu transmitter, because that was basically to prevent there from being several instances when you pick up something. It gets weird. I want to change that, which will get rid of around, I think, 64 different ones. 64 redundant microchips of, same menu, already in menu, right? Because basically what that does, currently for all of these ones here, is it kind of stops it from copying. So say you pick up paper, right, in the first slot. If that's not there, sometimes what will happen is it will copy over all the others as well. So it's just a little precaution. So with that done, now we have one less thing here. Now it's 173 paper in slot 1. That's good for the deletion logic, because now the deleter knows kind of where it is. So we'll just do KC1 and slot 1. So now the variable sends a signal here saying, hey, this key card is in this slot. So now the head, when it wants to delete it, knows what it's deleting. That's very important. Otherwise, you would delete all instances of KC or key card 1 in your inventory. So if you have like 3 and you want to delete just one, it's going to delete all of them. So this here just senses that you have it. Remember that KC? I think it just put K for now. We'll find it. KC in, right. So that sends a signal, which sends it to this. And this is a variable modifier, so that just tells the variable, hey, you're on now. So we have that, and slot 1 empty, that stays the same. So now what we have here is kind of the basics. We're not going to get into this microchip quite yet. But so we have this, which is all working now. It turns on the variable. And the variable in turn sends a signal saying it's on, and it's in this slot. Now we have this. This here, we don't need that, by the way. That's cool. One more thing deleted. This here is kind of like the logic for opening and closing it. So what you have here, let's see here, menu 1, slot 1 active, so that means that you're selecting that slot. If I play really quickly, so you see how like that gray box switches? Well, that's basically what that receiver there does. It just kind of tells, which one's active. That way it knows which one it's activating. Now, I'm sorry if you guys don't like this kind of more in-depth narration, I guess you could call it, while I do this, but I want to make sure that everyone's on the same page, because I know that I sure as hell would have wanted someone doing this for me when I was learning, so I'm hoping that I'm just kind of getting to you guys and being able to help you guys out as well. But so now you have menu 1 active. Now that's important because I want to add wallets and clipboards later on in the game, which is why that's there. Currently it serves no purpose though. If I were to delete it, nothing would change. And then press X menu. Now there's a difference between press X menu and press X in the game. So the same button does two different things, right? Because say that you're next to a door and you're in your menu and 173 is the other side of the door, right? And you press X to open a paper and it opens the door too. Well, now you're gonna die. So this kind of stops that from happening. It basically adds a little safeguard. So this here, when all that's activated, right? When that slot's active, and redundancy right now, but when that menu 1's active, and when you press X, along with the variable being on, it'll send a signal and turn on this here counter. Now this counter will basically say, hey, that's open, right? Or this is activated, you're using it. And we have here, this is to reset it, which I'm assuming then that means press square, yeah. So you open the menu with square and you close it with square basically. And here it sends two signals. It's saying document open and then it says exactly which one's open, 173. So for this, I'm actually going to have to refer back here just a little bit and find out where it wants to know when document is open, which I can kind of guess, but it's going to require that I do a little bit of searching here. So I'm going to act up right here. Alright, so document open essentially stops. Oh yeah, so document open, a little refresher, because I mean with all this logic I can't remember it all, but so document open basically gets rid of the menu, so that way you don't have boxes over the screen while you're reading it, because then it gets in the way. Alright, so there it is. And finally 173 open, I think that refers to, yeah, I think that actually refers to this. I think, yeah. So this refers to that in the graphics. There we go, because I changed it recently to make it take up less space. So, fun fact, this puppet here took up 40% graphics. 40% gameplay, not graphics, thank God. Took up 40% gameplay because of all the redundancies inside here, because basically each microchip with its all, 10 objects, and those microchips, and here there'd be another microchip that has the document inside of it, right? And so that's around like 100 something documents, and each document has like 10 different text boxes making up the papers. It just got really bad. So that's what that does, right? Now we know what all the stuff here does, and this node is basically just, these connecting here saying, hey, something is in slot 1. So now we know what it does, right? So we can close this and we can carry on to our new microchip. Never mind, it was this one, and work. So we have the basics open. Now let's see what we can get rid of, because when you're making something like this, it's very important to get rid of as many redundancies as possible, because the more you have, the more space you're taking up with something that you don't need. So right here, we need these because sensors and basically getting input, that you can't really lower that more than you already have. Now you have document open and 173 document open. And so here's where I'm at right now. So there's two ways I can do this, right? In the actual game, when you got a key card, it actually selected it and brought it out. Now, what I can do is I can actually get rid of this entire microchip here. I can completely delete that and have doors open automatically when you use it, which is a little less, what's the word I'm looking for? A little less tedious, and also because of the way the game mechanic works, where it doesn't pause when you open the menu, that might be the best course of action. So what we're gonna do here is check, make sure that there's nothing in here being transmitted that might ruin it, and delete. So now we just got rid of a lot there, right? Because that does add on to when you have that same microchip in every single one. So now it's really simple. In fact, we can actually kind of condense this a little bit, which makes it a lot nicer. And then here's what we end up with, right? So now what we do is we have KC slot 1, and I'm going to add another one. And this one here is for doors, because it's a key card and it does have a purpose, right? So we haven't added that in yet. And so we're gonna put we're gonna do KC1, then active, all caps. So now what this is going to do is this is going to tell the game exactly what level key card they have. That way, when they open a door, say, oh my god, okay, when they open a door, the door, if it say requires key card 2, it's not going to open. So there we go. Now we have our first key card chip. That's literally it, right? Now you would go into, of course, the door, which I could pull up here, and then you'd have to kind of add in the sensors for that too. But that's it. That's adding a new key card. And before I go, though, I want to show one last thing, which is every other slot. And I'm going to check this out really quickly so you can watch it. And if you notice, compared to these two, in fact, I'll even open up the same one, 939. You can see there's a slight difference down here, right? And that's this one already menu. We've already established that we don't need that, right? So it's still just 2, and then this NOT gate, which is, again, not needed. So now we have this and these 2, right? Now, what's this microchip here? Because this is only in microchips after slot 1. And this basically makes it so there's no not no redundancies. This one makes it so that way you don't skip slots, right? So say you have something in slot 3 and nothing else, and you pick up a paper. It's not going to go to slot 4 because there's space in slot 1 and 2. So it goes into slot 1 first, then 2. It kind of fills in the gaps. And this is important because you don't want things skipping around. It's going to get very confusing and it's going to mess up the logic. So I'm not going to include this in the video. Well, I'm not going to include me adding it to every single 7 other microchips because that actually does get very boring. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little educational thing. And sorry again, one last thing is I'm going to have to actually add in the deletion logic in here, which is basically just delete that, which will basically add a microchip in there. Same thing again, only I think I just have to change variables. I'll keep you guys updated on if I find like a better way of doing it, because as of right now it works, but it's a little costly. So I'm finally done now. Let me just add in this node here, and I'm sorry, you don't want to put more? Okay. Let's make it like that. Well, yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. This is really fun to explain, so I hope you guys are having just as much fun as I am, like learning and hopefully doing it along with me, because this is really cool. This is good for, this isn't just like an SCP menu, this can be for anything, basically. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, which will hopefully be soon. Goodbye.